All right, so I'm going to talk about painting this time. And once again, it's one of those videos that I have held back on just because I I don't want people to find this, like, I don't want amateurs to find this video first, because this is what I would consider an advanced technique that relies on your ability to draw things in perspective, to be able to draw the most basic of forms, to be able to control perspective. And people look at painting as I look at painting as a finishing technique. But when people look at finished illustrations, they often see the nice colors, they see the nice line work, the nice shapes, the nice shading, and they're blown away. They're blown away by these most breathtaking, beautiful techniques. And as a result, they that's the first thing they pursue. And so I would say that if you're an artist, or I should say, as an artist, I have found that the most important techniques are the ones that you notice last, while the least important techniques are the ones that the audience will notice first. And it's like painting is just a shell that goes around the forms, and the forms are something which are placed within a structure, within perspective. And even that perspective must adhere to a composition. There's a lot of these underlying layers of things that you need to learn before you jump ahead and deal with painting. Otherwise, what you wind up with is something which you can tell. When I see a lot of amateur work, I see stuff where people have gone in with airbrushes, gone in with smear tools and whatnot, and they've tried really hard to paint things, or worse, they just go in there with no color sense whatsoever, and they do a crap job of it. But they're trying to use these techniques, or they're trying to emulate techniques without actually understanding them and without any of the foundational work. And these are the hallmarks of being a total noob and just being bad at painting. Being bad at painting and just being bad at art in general. This is how you get bad at things, that you skip steps and you see the person sticking a mad ass, rail slide in skateboarding, and at this point they don't even know how to stay on the damn board. All right, and so everyone's just going to laugh at you at that point, and they're all just, if you're going to post this kind of stuff which is nicely painted on places like 4chan IC, you're going to get your ass torn apart. So that's all. So just, hey, you don't want to get your ass torn apart? Watch my other videos first, and then maybe practice that stuff, get better at it. Those videos will show you a lot of the foundational skills which are necessary for when it comes to painting. So yeah, huge ass pre-roll, because I don't want to be one of these drawing instructors that just goes in and shows himself painting really pretty stuff and winds up getting a whole bunch of people to just go running off a cliff trying to paint when they don't know the basics, and is essentially the cancer of a lot of the drawings on the internet. So yeah. So first things first, let's work out our composition. When it comes to painting, I'd say there's different stages to painting. One of these is composition, which is where you're just trying to figure out where things are on the screen. And, in that first box is just to figure out how much of the page do I intend on taking up. These next bits here are just to figure out, where do I want the pose to go. This is not even what I would consider a perspective. This is not what I would consider to be a perspective drawing, but it is more to just figure out, how much of the frame do I want to take up, and like going in with the photographer's little frame with his finger, and I'm just trying to figure out, how do I want to frame the image, and then I can go in later and start figuring out, all right, so I will probably still adjust the frame. There's a bit of a dialing process where I work out the composition. And this is all stuff that I covered in previous videos. So and for those of you who have been a long time, who are longtime viewers of my series, I'm really sorry to have to keep going through this preamble every single time, just because, like I say, it's everything that I teach is something that has to be grounded, in a lot of the fundamentals. And people watch videos based on their thumbnails. And so when they see, like something where there's painting, I'm more interested in painting than I am in doodling and sketching. I'm more interested in finishing a drawing rather than, getting a good start. So, that's the further along I go, the worse these preambles are going to get. Just a warning. Why it's hard. This is why it's hard to be a drawing instructor as well. It's just because of all the people that come along, all the Johnny come latelys who come along and say, "Hey, I want to learn how to paint," and they want to skip steps and they don't want to do the quote unquote boring stuff, the stuff that doesn't look that interesting, and that's because they're still looking at they still look at the work the way the rank amateur does. They're still looking at things the way a layperson does, and they're not looking at things the way an artist does, which is, that there's a lot of underlying fundamentals. They just see things from a superficial perspective. So, and it's normal. It's just what I have to deal with. It's an occupational hazard. All right, so I'm not going to go in and do nice line work on this thing, because the next bit of painting that I want to show you is silhouette. It's just the mask. It's basically a mask stage. So a masking stage would be to go in here on this thing, turn down the opacity a chunk. So I'm just dialing this thing. I just wanted to be able to see it. And I have it on a separate layer. So I have my line layer up top. I've got a mask, just a regular layer underneath, under which I'm going to draw a mask. So painting, people look at painting and think of it as, you go in with brushes. And no, it doesn't actually have to be brushes. In this case, I'm going in with something that's akin to a lasso tool. Right? It's a lasso tool. And it fills in the shapes as I draw them. I go in with the stabilizer as well. And I'm just roughly, I'm not doing too careful of a job here. And I kept things pretty darn loose. And that's all you, like, there's a reason why I didn't go in and make a really, really tight drawing, and that's because I'm going to be going in there with a mask silhouette. So I can kind of tell, we can adjust this. I feel like that kind of belongs over there. If I right click, this software is TV Paint, so it has this really, really nice masking tool that you can use. If you're using Photoshop, then you probably have to use the lasso tool and press Shift F5 to fill in a color. There's also a reason why I'm not using pure black, and that's because I want to be able to see my lines. If I use pure black, then the black lines on top of black shapes will just vanish, and that's not very productive. So, okay, so anyway, I'm just trying to tune the silhouette, and I'm going to turn down the opacity of this layer even further, because I care more about getting this masking silhouette done right. And I think this is where people, where a lot of amateurs go wrong right away, a lot of beginners go wrong right away, in that they start trying to shade things. They think that painting is just shading and rendering, when and they don't want to admit that you have to have, a good silhouette, good line work, good form. Like, these are really, really, these are far more important, because if you have poor shapes, right, if the shapes are bad, then the shading has to go over top of it, and it just won't, it just won't look good at all. And you won't be able to describe why, because you don't understand the underlying stuff. Most the beginners don't understand what lies beneath. They have a very shallow understanding of things, and their shallow understanding only encapsulates the rendering aspects of they can only see things from the surface. So now let's see. I've got these two legs are parallel. If I wanted to, I could. Here, I can change things out. I'm going to just not worry about that. The back, this leg here. I'm going to cross the legs over, in fact. So this is the thing, is that when you're doing this, you notice that I'm not even really worrying about feet, right? I just let it go to a point. That's because I'm still working out the composition. And then this one I can probably bring down even further. And I'm going to defocus my eyes because I don't want the lines to be too dominant. I'm just defocusing my eyes and just relax the eyes. Don't try to focus on anything. Your eyes will just naturally, or my eyes will just naturally show a blurred image. Because when I do that, it allows me to take in more of the peripheral vision, right? Whereas when you stare straight at something, when you're staring, straight at a particular point, the rest, whatever's in your peripheral tends to fall away. So if you defocus your eyes, it allows you to take in more of the image as a whole. And I'm gonna be, I'm like this. I'm gonna be sitting here tuning this silhouette a lot. It's gonna make if the silhouette's beautiful, then that is a huge step forward. And this is the stage where you can get a lot of stylization in. And again, it's not something that I do a whole lot of talking. Once I get really into it, I don't have to talk a whole lot because it's like I say, all this stuff is covered in the previous videos. When I start figuring out, which way should I turn this shape or that shape, and if something's not quite working out, I will be able to just rapidly nuke the thing, take off, nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. And try again. Start over, if need be. You zoom out on the thing, and I think I'll probably move this one just a little higher. The important thing is that you can still really grasp that silhouette. I'm going to turn down these lines because I'm really, really, really not paying too much attention to them anymore. So I turn them down, like not completely. I can still see them barely if I actually focus my eyes. But if I defocus them, then they fall away. And this is nice because I'm not having to sit up there. I don't have to keep going back and forth, tweaking an opacity slider. My main rule of thumb, or one thing I always strive for in my interface setups, like in the case of TV Paint, is there are going to be two places where I want my hands, and one of them is on the Nostromo down below, where all of my hotkeys are set up for my undos and my redos, my zooming and panning, all that stuff there. And then the other one is on the stylus, and I don't want to be poking and jabbing at the keyboard if I can help it. It's like Charlton Heston says, "From my cold dead hands." So yeah, don't let go of the stylus and keep your eyes on the monitor as long as you can. Set up your stuff. Get a piece of software like, say, Pinnacle Game Profiler, or use Auto Hotkey and make your own scripts, and set up your hotkeys on those things. Hook them up to game controllers. In my case, I'm using the Nostromo. It's an older, outdated, it's a discontinued Razer device. I guess there's the Orb Weaver now. I think I like the Nostromo more because it had the scroll wheel on it. But which is really good for animation, by the way. But, like I say, is that you want to keep your eyes on the screen at all times, or as long as you can. I think I might, let's see, I'm going to draw. Yeah. Okay. So, neat thing about working with shapes, right, is that I can draw a shape like that. It looks like a plane that's now sitting flat like that. Oh, here, let me just adjust this thing back. I'll center it. All right, so I mean, this is a way that you can work with silhouettes, is that silhouettes really let you, I can even see that the perspective is wrong on it, and I can adjust it. Right, it's pretty neat. And then you can go in there with another color mask, lock your mask off, right? Because the next stage will be lighting things like that. Depending on where your light source is coming from. For one, I can light this thing from the front, or I can light it, just change the lighting direction, or I can go even brighter and I can make it so that, the lighting is kind of coming from a bit of an angle, and I can go super bright on that. And then, right, so this to me is another form of painting. Not all painting must be done with brushes. Painting is just the matter of dealing with value and color and all that other stuff. And it is still three-dimensional, right? So this is why I say, you can't just jump ahead to this stuff and think that, you can skip steps, because your ability, like the thing is that the painting is still an optical illusion. It's not, I think what happens is a lot of people, a lot of beginners, myself included, get into painting and, we learn all about the drawing parts of things and drawing things three-dimensionally, and when we start painting, all that shit goes out the window. And you can't do that, because you just make really crappy paintings. Looking pretty good. So, hang on, I'm gonna see if I can correlate this line down. Yeah, and then I can just put it back in. Great. Right? I mean, just get a good silhouette. And you can tune it until you're satisfied with it. And don't move on, try not to move on to the next stage until you're really satisfied with that silhouette. I like narrower waists. Get that wasp waist in there. Oh yeah. And yeah, you'd probably also notice that I'm flattening out the bottom, just because, again, there's a lot of weight distributed right there on the butt, and the skin's gonna flatten out. Same thing over here. Just lots of this fine tuning stuff. Great. I'm still looking at things, and here, let me turn the lines off completely. So, eventually you graduate to the point where the lines are more or less gone. Screw it. Let's put them back. Okay, so that's the first step. Just getting that overall mask silhouette. Now, the next step could be we can clothe the figure. And I've done videos on that. I'll just do like a really, really fast rundown on this. I'll try and speed clothe the figure. So one of these, and in this case, I'll just be working grayscale. So we work out a simple skin, not tone, but in this case, this would be just a skin shade. Or actually, what I'll do is I'll use like this dark one as my clothing shade, and then I'll use a lighter tone as my skin shade. And then I can start figuring out, okay, so which parts do I want to reveal? So we're not even lighting at this point. There's no lighting yet. I'm just having to make this complete shape. So it's pretty cool, right? Is that I'm just working shape on shape. It's I didn't suddenly switch tools and I just chose another shape, another shade, and I'm just applying it on top of the existing shape. So it's like a sub shape. And in this case, I'm not even changing the silhouette. At the not yet, not there yet. Actually, I'm gonna just make the whole thing here. Let's go all light. And I can go dark again. I can wrap the lines around. So this is how, you know, a way in which you can still get additional detail in, and it's not some brainless thing where you're just coloring, right? You don't just color the lines. It's still a process of drawing. Trying to get maybe parallel, trying to get parallel curve. There we are. Yeah. Good. I think I kind of like this is accidental. This little bit here. I'm gonna leave it like that. I kind of like it. And everything is still pretty much skin tight. I have a bit of asymmetry here. Maybe I'll just get rid of that bit there. Oh, Discord. And let's see. Yeah, I'm just considering cutting out some, right? So you see why I'm not in such a huge rush to go off and pull out a brush, right? Like what's the hurry? You can do so much just working in shape. You get a lot done. Okay, so this part here not quite looking so hot. It's kind of a weird silhouette that's forming. Yeah, it's because I need to correlate these shades, these shapes. Yeah, so I have to delete a little bit of work. Yeah, and also this thing is not looking right. I'll probably have to move that notch further down. Yeah, it's better. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna turn off the yeah, I'm turning off the mask preservation. Yeah, you get a little bit of underboob in there. Or even let it there. Let that. I'm gonna let this bit here. Much better. Okay, so I said I wasn't gonna use any color. I'm gonna add one color just for an interior shade. Got a bit of a tangent forming though. That's an ugly, ugly tangent. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Okay, so the tangent is right here on this bit right there. So I'm going in there and remedying the situation, rectifying the situation. Great, great, great. Close enough. Okay. And maybe I'll yeah, I'm gonna close up that notch for a sec. Might have to adjust the shape. Tuning, lots of tuning. Okay. So yeah, it's that's purely just working in just flat shapes. No shading yet. And can keep on working here. Like we can still make this more readable. So I guess what I'll do is I'll pick, okay, now I'll pick out a brush because I need to put in some outlines on this. So it's a good thing I didn't use black yet because if I want to, I can. I have that option available to me and I can use black for this sort of work. Great too because it gives the edge of the clothing a bit more of a finished look. Sorry, a sec. Gotta mask that better. I think I want to adjust this one a bit. Better. A little bit too angular for my liking though. I'm going to smooth that out. Better. Even this part here, I think, can probably make more of an arc on that. Just rounding things out. I haven't done so much as a lick of shading. Okay, so we have this part that, the leg's going behind. So here's what I'm going to do. That's the foot that goes in front. Well, I am. So what this is an arc. It's an arc that goes like this, right? And then what I do is I zigzag on the arc. That's how I generate that pattern. So it's not just a zigzag, it's an arced zigzag. It's a deformed arc. All right, next bit. So you can do this in 2 stages if you're having difficulty getting the shapes correct. And just do the arc first and then bite into the shape. Oops. Had too much stabilization on this. Hang on a second. Once more. Okay, that's better. Felt like my stabilization was just a little out of control there. Oh, I left that open. That actually looks kind of good. I'm going to mirror that. Although I kind of like the way it looks there on that toe, so maybe I close the toe off a bit. Close the toe, open the mind. A lot you can do just playing around with the shape. Open that heel up. So we're seeing the foot from behind. But I keep those bits closed off. Yeah, that's better. Still getting things a little bit lost in here. So I'm going to adjust this thing. Actually, I know what the problem is. This needs to be reversed. We're having a bit of an Escher issue. Yeah, because I need that leg to go in reverse that way. Okay, now I can go and make this come much closer. So it's more like, yeah. Just notice a massive like perspective issue, which I'm in the midst of fixing. I'm going to, we need this leg here to come closer to us like that. And I'm going to fill that in. And I need this line here to turn this way. Yeah, because now I'm just trying to cant the lower body towards us. And in fact, I think what I'll do is I'm just going to eliminate. Let's see. There's some parts that we can save, some parts we can't. So in this case, I'm going to save that. But then I'm going to eliminate all this information here. So I've just gotten rid of it completely. We go back to the drawing. And just let's fix this bit up. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna change this bit up. I'm gonna get that lower body to really come closer. Okay. Yeah, because the thing is, it was ill-conceived, or rather, it was something that I had decided on the spur of the moment, and now I'm suffering for it. But I still think it was not a bad idea. It was just unplanned for, and I hadn't made enough adjustments to deal with it. And this is one of the things that you got to deal with, is that your drawing is going to, at times, it's gonna hit a bump, and you're just gonna have to go back to the drawing board, literally. go back to it and fix it. I think I already feel a lot better with where this drawing is going. Let's move that all the way out here. Yeah, now we're really pushing some perspective here. I see a little bit of this underneath. And maybe this I want to curve that downward a bit. I'm just drawing through the leg. Good. We're seeing the underside of the foot still. So that's still saved. The heel, front of the foot. Yeah, in the end, I'll probably wind up redrawing or redoing the those lines. I mean, those shapes. Okay, good. So, yeah, going to be redoing all of that stuff. But I keep that stuff there just for reference because I'm just keeping the design ideas that were in there. Oh, and let me turn down my opacity a bunch. Much better. So yeah, you just got to be flexible and be able to go, to like on the fly, drop of a hat, go in there and perform massive changes. And something I think a lot of people have difficulty doing, like they come to me with their drawings when they have these massive problems in them, but they can't seem to let go. They can't seem to go in there and be willing to destroy a large portion of the drawing. And the reason why they can't go in and destroy a large portion of the drawing is because, they've gone in there and they've shaded. They've gone in there and they've made all this nice shading work. And they're afraid, they're afraid of losing that work. They've overcommitted, overinvested by skipping stages. And now it's coming back to bite them. It comes back to bite you. And it's like when you put in nice shading, nice line work, and all these other, quote unquote finishing moves, you put them in too early, they become baggage. They become baggage that slows you down and prevents you from being able to do the right thing. You get attached to the work that you put in, and it just becomes like a bunch of barnacles on your hull that slows you down. It's detrimental to the creative process. Not only must you create, you must also be willing to destroy. If you're going to be an artist, and the whole point of being an artist is being able to idealize, right? And an ideal is something where you're trying to make something that's perfect. And to make something that's perfect, you must be able to destroy that which is not perfect within your creations. Yeah, you have to take a firm hand to your own work to be able to destroy that which is dragging your work down. It doesn't apply to real life, but it applies within the realm of possibilities that you propose to other people. You're proposing, your ideas, you're proposing a vision to other people. And so to propose anything less than a vision that is, perfect in your eyes, it's then, you're the artist. You're the artist. So take some responsibility. Seriously. Now, I'm just thinking, okay, so I guess none of the black parts are going to actually go up to here. But that's fine. because we can show the leg that's in front, and through inference we can tell. Yeah, that's better. It's already a lot better. It's like something, like there was a huge perspective problem and I could tell it was bothering me. But I went in and I took the brutal medicine. Okay. All right, you have to save the drawing. Get your ass in there and save that drawing. That is a lot of what it takes to finish a drawing. To see a drawing through to completion means that the drawing will not always go the way you planned it, and you have to spend the time to get your ass in there and save the thing. Save the thing that's on fire. Much, much better. In fact, I think I'll work in black in this case. Yeah, I'm going to put in another layer, actually. I have this hotkey that I hit, which switches the layer between protecting its alpha channel and transparency versus not protecting it. So when the alpha transparency is protected, like it is right now, it will no matter what colors I draw over it, it will always maintain that transparency. When I unprotect it or disable the protection, it allows me to add or subtract from the silhouette. And like I'm right clicking with this thing. So I'm always, if you ever see, all of a sudden I'm able to paint outside, I'm hitting a hotkey on my Nostromo and making it happen. So in this case, I'm going to make that curl around. Oh, except if that doesn't, I had my layer protection on. There we are. This little bump looks like a wrinkle. So I start usually with sharp angular, then I curve afterwards. And then I can also throw in another layer and work behind. So what I have now is line, shape, and then a layer that sits behind. And I can, once again, work behind. Boom. Fill that in. Tune the shape of this thing. Or I'll go to the layer on top. Just trying to think how much underneath I want to see. Okay, let's well, I know I definitely want to see. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I can just do a ripple. Right, duh. Yeah, and then I can erase this away here. Great. Great. And then I can grab some of that red color and I have to correlate this bit here. Maybe, let's see, where shall I correlate to? Maybe to about there. Okay. A lot of my painting with silhouettes is understanding how to perform these correlations, these alignments, as I also call them. And this is why I always have to keep zooming out, because I'm looking to see, that's going to correlate. Or maybe around here is where it will correlate. This is really, really, really important to any kind of fabric and clothing design, that you are able to perform these alignments and correlations. I think a lot of fashion, I see fashion that just doesn't I've seen fashion shows and it just doesn't do anything for me. It's because the shape cuts are just terrible, and there's no correlations anywhere, and it just doesn't flatter the figure. It doesn't even have to show a lot of skin to be a good design. In fact, that's I think a lot of times when I see fashion, in North American fashion particularly, is sometimes I think they show a little too much skin. Actually, they show way too much skin and just don't have any, they don't show any alignments, any correlations, it's just nothing in it for me. It's just, the geometry is unpleasant. Kind of a shame, they get these really, really, hot models and stuff, people with great figures, and the clothiers just can't seem to design clothing that looks good on them. Real shame. Kind of a waste, really. And then on the other side, yeah, that looks good. I'm gonna make that a little bit more extreme. Really want that fold over look. And then I can grab some of that red, pop it a bit there, grab some more of that red. Oh, let's make that go down a little bit further. Yeah, it's like I still haven't, not a single lick of lighting yet. Can all come in later. In fact, you know what? I'll separate that into another video entirely. In fact, I'm already thinking about what the preamble on that one's going to be. If you want to learn how to do lighting and shading and you haven't watched the previous video, fuck you, go back and watch that. I will not be a party to the cancer. I will not be a party to the cancer of bad art on the internet. Well, I guess on the other hand, it gives us something to laugh at. Okay, I still like those little zigzags. Those are kind of cute. This is kind of a weird shape here. I should fill that in just a bit. Toes curling a little too much too. It's better. Yeah, looking kind of angular here, so I'm just here to clean things up a bit. And it's okay to be to start out angular. In fact, if you wanted to, you could push it as a style. Some people like it, some people not so much, but it can work. It can totally work. Right, so I'll work out the overall shape first before I go in there and tune it. Oh, so only so I can either make it so that the big toe is the only toe that's revealed. Yeah. And then keep the others clothed. It's not really revealed. It's I mean we're not even using the that clothing layer yet. Now, so I can really, really spend a long time tuning something like this. I think I still like that shape more. Yeah, I'll go back. Yeah, that's much better. The same here. Reveal the heel. Get some of that sexual healing. Sorry. That was a dad joke. I'm at that age, you know. Old enough to be a dad. Okay, it's a good thing that no children are in my care. Just not responsible enough. Okay, good. That looks good. Go down a layer. Throw that in. In fact, I think I'll go up a layer again. Let's unlock transparency. Yeah, I'm going to flare this out a bit. Same deal. Keep some symmetricity in there. There we are. Get some of that red. Oop. Better. Oh. That's kind of neat. I'm just trying to think because like you see how low that is, but I do like that flare right there. See if I could ripple it. See if that helps anything. Or what I'll do is yeah, that's better. Neat. Makes the clothing look a little more supple, less rigid. Now see that straight line here? This is like, it's a box edge. So here I'll show you the box edge. This is what's going on. All right, so that's actually, if anything, this is it's a twist, like an M. Night Shyamalan twist. So let's see, I'm going to correlate the whole sides of things because obviously, you know, when you're dealing with shapes, not obviously, rather unobviously, when we're dealing with shapes, we run the problem of losing our correlations between the plane edges. So I'm going to go in there and I'm just going to try and clarify for myself, because that is the side edge there, right? This is the underside here. Yeah. Yeah, so this is, I'm going to say bottom. Right, this is the inner edge, so I'm going to call it, you know, I for inner. I for inner. Okay. So we have a bit of a twist here. So this is bottom edge. This is the side edge. And okay. So this is bottom like that. This is side. So this is inner. The legs are crossing over, which means that we never, let's see, this is the outer edge here. So this is outer, outer, outer. So this inner edge, right, that is going to tidy up like that. Or I should just get the bottom edge. Yeah, so our bottom edge is here. Okay, so that's bottom, bottom. All that's bottom here. And our inner edge is something that is actually more like that. So this is, yeah, so the inner is going in here. Okay. So that actually is what's happening. I'm having to really, okay, so the bottom edge is all the way here, right? All that stuff's is getting obscured, or it's hard to kind of understand what's going on. Now that I can see what's going on, that means that this edge here is incorrect. I need to do that. Yeah. Oh, except the reason I couldn't was because this other leg came in front. That's why it was so confusing. So, I mean, it all is, like, this stuff is still, like, the shapes are still correct. The problem is that things are getting lost. Things are getting lost, and it's just hard to understand what we're seeing. So I'll just have to go in there and draw on a few. It means that the design of the clothing needs some more information. I need to place more information, more input. Why is it not painting my shapes? Oh, probably because it's in like behind mode. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to just be kind of crude with these tools. Right. Okay. I see what I can do to make this work. I'm going to set that into multiply mode. So it's, all right, my blue lines are now in multiply mode, and I should really take down the opacity a chunk. Good. Now I can make better sense of what I'm seeing. And one of the tools that I use to figure out what I'm looking at, oh, I can get rid of this as well. Oh. Yeah, you know, not relying on those. Okay, right, so I'm still just using actually I'm going to change that to white. Yeah, it looks better at white as white. So that is just a trim line, right? The trim line lets you follow the form much more readily. So this is the side. Turn off that. Turn off that one. Oops. It's much easier to understand. Oh, and then of course I can make that trim line. Up here on the other side. And then trim it. So now you can really see Yeah, we cut that up. Right. See how much it makes it pop out. It's information. Right. The clothing, I think good clothing conveys information. It doesn't confuse you. It actually clarifies what you're looking at. Which is why I think a lot of people just can't make good clothing. They don't know what information is there to be clarified. They don't know what information is there to be given. And by information, I mean just being able to look at the pose and being able to understand what you're looking at. You don't obfuscate. You clarify. How can you make clothing that's flattering if you don't know the form? If you don't know how to clarify the form. I think I can probably add oh yeah, let's do this. Yeah, that's looking lots better. And I can still go in there with that white line. Actually, I think what I'll do, I'm going to take this gray line. Yeah, so I'm going to change that white line, into a gray line. And then take this white line and change that into a black line. And I think I'll probably put a bit of a line weight on this. It looks a lot better with the line weight. So for me, there's not a whole lot of like painting. With painting, you still have to pay attention to line. There's still a lot to be done. Yeah, that looks like way better. That's actually a happy mistake, right? Yeah, much better. Actually, I don't think I like how this line is reading. I'm going to do that. Okay. Or I'll do this from two different directions. Yeah, it's better. Okay. All right. Screw you, Discord. You die. You die now. This ends here and now. Goodbye. Goodbye, and thanks for all the fish. Why Discord? I don't know why Discord by default does those stupid pinging notifications. I wish they made it so it was more like a whitelist, where you opt in for the notifications, and it has to send you a notification for every community you sign up for. for all the general, like all the freaking chats. Because like I follow a lot. I follow a lot of Discords and a lot of I follow a lot of communities. But the problem is that when you have a lot of communities on your feed, then the notifications just start to get out of control. And then you wind up having to disable all the everything. It's just and I don't want it because sometimes people want to talk to me and send me pings and stuff. But in this case, this is just like people spamming in general. Fucking stupid. Still tuning. Oh, I had an idea. Nope. Yep. Here we go. Okay, so we are seeing some tangents forming. Tangents are bad. Not so sure I like that shape that's there. So you always have to go back to the basics. Just trying to think how far down I should move this shape here. Let me just undo all that crap I just did. I just don't like how the top of this skirt is, so I'm gonna go in there and fix it up. Okay, so this part needs to be convex like that. Yeah, better. And in fact, that actually helps this bit here read more. I'm gonna lower that. I wonder how. In fact, if I go all the way down to here. Oh, now here's an idea. I can go all the way and do that. I like it. I like it. It makes the dress more three-dimensional. I like anything like that. That's much better. Much, much better. And then I can just add a bit of a clothing wrinkle here. Cool. Cool, cool, coolio. And then we can see her belly. We need to have a bit of underboob. Just working out the working out how much I want to see. Right? Clothing is partially about revealing, it's also about concealing. Both. Oh. Oh, I like that. That's nice and elaborate. I like elaborate. Boys. That drops straight down. Oops, wrong color. We do that. Much better. Oh, okay. Then we draw the underclothing right there, or the under color. Just like one piece, one little tiny piece. That's all it takes. And then I just gotta tighten up this bit. Still, as of yet, not one lick of shading. And then finally, I can go in and put in a border edge. Whoops, hang on a second here. Gotta turn on my transparency lock. Yeah, because I'm gonna be going up here on that edge. I'm gonna curve this as well. Get some curvature. Whoops. This is looking kind of angular, so I'll get some curvature in that as well. Better. Maybe I'll... Yeah, that's even better. Here I think I had to move over. Yeah, I gotta move it over, so I guess I'll again, so right, it's like getting to correlate with the leg. Actually, what I'll do is this, I'll draw beyond what the leg covers, and then I'll and go. Then I can reveal it there. Yeah, okay, so again, I'm gonna do more and then paint over top. All right, so I mean, I can do so much in terms of design work, right? I can change, I'm designing the clothing and I'm not sitting here fighting with shading. It's a really, really important thing. I'm not fighting with shading right now. And this is why I say, like, you gotta leave your shading for the end. You can't start shading until the design's complete. Just like I know people are, they rush. They keep rushing off to this stuff. And you shouldn't hurry. You can't rush the process. The process is going to take as much time as it takes before it's complete. Want some fasteners on this. Maybe since I have worked out this little fastener, I'm actually going to let it, yeah, let's let that droop down. The more it does, the better, in fact. In this case, just helps with the three-dimensionality of the drawing. Like even when you're working with flat shapes, still got to be three-dimensional. I think I'm going to correlate this with that. I'll work out an alignment. Yep. Then I'll do the same over here. It will also reduce the incidence of, that was it, dress malfunctions? Oop, wrong color. There we are. Wardrobe malfunctions, the phrase. Right. In fact, I think I'll right now this thing is concave this way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go reverse. Yeah, better. And then this one, I'm gonna accentuate that bit of red. That means that this black curve has to go up and over like that. Yeah, it's better. Good. And I feel like I want to have. I heard that. Give me a second. I have like 3 machines set up, and they're all running Discord. Okay, time to die. No, go away. Stop. Okay, good. Quit. Yes, quit. Leave me alone. I can't believe I can still see the notifications even though Discord's quit. Oh, it's because it's Windows 10 on these other computers. Yeah, I love Windows 10. It does run nice and fast. It boots up nice and quick. It does give you these wonderful performance enhancements. And the problem is that it's invasive as all fuck. That's my main beef with 10. 10 is great technically, but it's invasive. They got that stupid Cortana bullshit. And all that Windows advertising stuff. You have to go in there and you have to like forcefully turn it off. And then what it does with drivers is like stuff that you have to go in there and forcefully turn it off. And then meanwhile, like Microsoft keeps going in there and trying to stop you from like, disabling these auto update bullshit things. So yeah, really, I don't like to play cat and mouse with OS and software developers because it's my computer, damn it. It's like they're gradually, I feel like we're losing control over our physical property of these computers. I know why. I know there's probably some Linux people out there who are like, yeah, that's why I use Linux. I'm like, yeah, I know. If only like there was more software that I wanted to. If only there were more games that I wanted to play that were on Linux. But that's not happening anytime soon. I just don't like this shape for some reason, and I want to flare out. Yeah, it looks better when it's flared out. More dimensional again. Yeah. So like the clothing starts out skin tight, but I always like adding, additional wrinkles and folds just to make things look a little bit more, I don't know, flexible, a little more comfortable. Just a bit, All the while, like I'll have, boob windows and stuff like that. But, I can still go in there and make sure she's got a bra underneath all that. something ridiculous and frilly. Just, yeah, I don't know. It's like it doesn't quite work out. The shape's just kind of clashing. Don't know what color to use. Just leave it alone. Yeah. Although now, like this thing up here, I'm not so fond of how this like like it looked good earlier, but now with all the additional layers and stuff, it doesn't look as good. Plus that and this, like they don't seem to correlate well, so I think I'll like I feel like this would bump up. Right? Like it's the clothing needs to if she's wearing it right, like I feel like this bit here would somehow like the cuff would somehow come up higher, and this dress here, which goes down over this arm, would ride up and go over if the drawing were, if the dress were symmetrical. Yeah, let's okay, so I'm just gonna merge my two layers and make it happen. Okay, fine. So I'll lock the opacity and I'll just draw a piece of the fabric that goes up and over. Yeah, I know I haven't drawn her face in yet. And oops. Yeah, so I'm just going to black all of this out for now. Okay, good. So back to worrying about this lower level of silhouette. Let's see. I'm going to black out the arm as well. I need to make this whole silhouette read. Right, we need that. Well, let's see. It goes down to her elbow, so like she's wearing a shawl. Ruined. So that still goes there. All right, I think I know what I'm going to do. Yeah, so all this here. Go. Save the drawing. This is a large part of what it takes to be able to make to make a finished drawing, is that you have to be able to save the thing. You got to be able to deal with these problems, and like I say, just be flexible. I got to make that go. No, actually, I still need to. Yeah. That goes up like that. And we get the gray. Okay, good. It's starting to congeal in my brain. I'm starting to get the sense of it. Right. And this bit here, it needs to go up and back and up and around. And this bit here. Yeah, I'll fix up that face shape later. It's tough because, like I say, it's a big, dark shape and things get lost like super fast. And there's a lot of complexity that's going on. So I think what I should, in this case, I should get in there and start adding some seam lines because things are just getting very confusing. And you'll notice, like, again, I've only got a few colors, but a good design should be able to make do with just those few colors. Like, I'm very hesitant to add more colors than I have to, or more shades. I work within a very limited palette of colors. So, yeah, so this now reads a lot better. In fact, I think I'll make that go all the way up. So that goes up like that. And then, yeah, I'm going to make this like really, really ride that up and around. Neat. So this little problem makes, it actually makes the clothing more interesting. Now we got something that's kind of like a quasi hood. And now I want to take that and bring that around. Yeah. Yeah. Nice when everything's starting to, it's all starting to gel. So much more fun. Like it's so much more rewarding when you've gone through when you had to take some pains to make it work. Much better. And then I think I'm going to rumple the clothing here. Because the arm's coming up, right? So the arm's coming up, you're going to get a lot of rumpling on the top. Every time you flex a joint, you get a lot of rumpling. So same here. I'm going to just try and ripple the fabric a bit. Get some rumpling in there. It makes the clothing seem like it's got some substance. I'll drop that down a bit more. Still, I haven't touched shading yet. Just not ready for it. Like, to me, working with shape, this is a design tool. And when you're designing, you're coming up with ideas and you're figuring out what works, what doesn't. This, to me, is far more interesting than just kind of letting your brain turn off and, rendering, just licking away at the drawing to make it look more real. Like, this stuff is how you get the drawing to actually be appealing, right? This is more to do with what you're drawing as opposed to how you draw it. I think too many people they're so focused on the how-to that they forget, just why you should draw. Why is, what's the whole point of drawing in the first place? Especially as the technology has advanced so much in recent years and continues to advance at a frightening pace. The computers can already render better than, they can render better and faster than any human can right now. The computers have already beaten us in terms of rendering, in terms of nice shading. They've got displacement mapping, they've got normal mapping, they've got SSA, screen space ambient occlusion. They do all this crap at 60 to 120 frames a second. Really, I mean, the machine's got us beat in every way, shape, and form when it comes to just rendering. They're just faster. So the only thing that the human at present has, for the time being, is the ability to design. And the ability to design faster than a computer does. The fact that there's an actual consciousness back there until Watson comes along and replaces us. Yeah, let's get my line work back in there. In fact, I think I'll probably go with, I don't know what color hair to go with. But I think if I change my background from a white to something else, like that. Okay, good. Now white is open for an option. Whoops. There we go. I haven't used any white in this entire drawing, have I? No, I haven't. Good. I have no idea where this line... Oh, there it is. I mean, I could have gone with pink, but I didn't want her to look like a social justice warrior. Great too, because we don't even have any line work as of yet. Make that hair go over the hood. Get some here and there. Pretty cool. Yeah. So much work you can get done with just... Oh, right. Dirt. I see it. Get a... Oops. Get... Since we have that side line there, I'm going to... Yeah. Love this program. Maybe instead of just going straight down, I should go... Yeah. Right, you can control so much. Oh, and then I gotta fix that little bit up there. Get in with the shape tool again. Patch that up. So much you can get done with shape cuts. Now I'm just going through and fixing up little things. Get that correlation in there. Maybe on this one here as well, I should have it there. Yeah, I lost a lot of the shape in here. That's better. Oh, my leg itches. Okay, let's see. What else? That hood line right there, not so good. Get this thing too. Much better. Much better. Over here. I should make that one. No, it's the other way around. It's convex. Because it's, you know, it's like her arm is, it's like her elbow is outwards and the hand is coming closer. Now I can put in a light zigzag. Yeah, and then do the same here. And I have to do a bias on the spacing because I don't know how to explain this. All right, so if we look at, right, this thing is curved, right? This arm is, it's curved. And so I have to put a bias on the spacing, right? There's more space out here and less space out here. So when I do the zigzag pattern, right, I bias towards the outside and I stretch the stuff in the middle while compressing the stuff on the outside, and it helps make it look more three-dimensional. Still don't like that butt silhouette at the bottom. I think it's just a little too lumpy for my liking. And it doesn't correlate well with this bit here. You know, I don't care if it makes her look like she's having a huge ass. Just there we go. She's got fat legs anyway, so it all works out. Oh, right. And then I can also flare out here. Yeah. And flare this one out as well. Great. And also this bit here, I need to, we got too much curvature going on. Yeah. Yeah, now it's starting, see that? Like, what a difference, right? What a difference. Now that leg really feels like it's turning. I'll have to, well, same for that. Yeah, that really made a huge difference. All that, you know, perspective crap. We got to make it happen. And then maybe down here. Yeah, better. Don't know if the slit in the dress is really... Oh yeah, it does make a big difference, but I think it's just misplaced. Oop. So keep it tight though. And a fastener. Maybe one more here. Again, stop those wardrobe malfunctions. See, like when I design clothing that is obviously going to wardrobe malfunction, and then I put in a fastener just to troll you. Just to make sure that it doesn't actually happen. But that's the thing, right? It's like clothing in that way, in that regard, the clothing can right, that's how the clothing provokes the imagination. That's how you and that's so much better than just, drawing clothing that's super revealing. Here we are. So I have to correlate that with that. And this. Is good. Gotta get that visual separation in there. You gotta keep them separated. Good. Lots of this maneuvering. Like I can tell that there's a line that goes here to here, but and it's just not clear enough. So I had to make the adjustment. The things are getting kind of lost. So having to make all these little adjustments. Doing this shape work it's a huge job. And you have to take it seriously. You just, rush off to rendering. I mean, yeah, you can have a nicely rendered bad design. Is that what you want? Because that seems to be what people want. They have all fallen in love with rendering. They love rendering. They love the pretty colors. It's a trap. It's such a trap. All that pretty coloring. Oh, I just had an idea. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Let's do it. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna grab that color here. Cut all that away for a second. All right. We are gonna give her some fucking coattails. Oh yes. Gotta make them longer. That is dapper as fuck. Super dapper. I love it. Jiminy Cricket, eat your goddamn heart out. Then I gotta even out. Rather than evening out the coattail, like trying to make that one larger, what I do is I'll just continue this around, make a big round shape. I'm just wondering if I should, get the feet to sit on that thing or, but I mean, like we're kind of defying a few laws. We're definitely defying some laws of perspective. It still looks okay though. Like it's not. It's like I know something's not right, but the alarm bells aren't going off. So, like, there's a difference between consciously knowing something and then instinctually knowing something. I'm just shifting everything. Here's what I should do. I should flip it. Okay. Yeah. Now I can see. Okay, I can see some of the things that need to be changed here on the butt. But they're not that bad. Like it's like just a couple brush strokes, or not brush strokes, but shape strokes. How come this thing's not switching tools? There we go. Oh hell yeah. Oh. Oh. Then I have to add. Now, here's the thing. Okay, so yeah, I need to figure out where the bottom of her butt is. So this stuff all has to correlate, line up. So I'm gonna move that out. I need more room for the coattail, and I'm sure I'll be able to. I'll be able to correlate everything and get them all in the right place. Just have to give it some time. In fact, I can already see where things need to be solved. That's fine. It'll all come together. So if the center of her butt is here. Yeah, so the center of her butt's over here. Then we open. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna move those legs over. Okay. I'm just gonna cut away all that. Center of her butt's here. But this thing kind of dips down. Yeah, that dips down, and that's the shape it makes. Then I'll have to move those legs like hugely. I'll have to do another big change on those. So we pull that down, open that up. You cut all the way to here. I'm gonna open that up some more. Really need this drapery to flop down. Also have to avoid any crossovers. Crossovers are this is a crossover, right? This little thing right here. Okay, good. Now I can start a bit of repair work. Okay. So this originally, the legs were further away. I'm going to reposition them and bring them closer. So once again, I'm going to have to cut this away. Good thing I had the drawing flipped. Okay. We're going to go back into, let's get rid of this layer. Back into the line work. Yeah, so let's get rid of these lines here. Actually, I'll just knock them back. Need a big brush here. Knock these back. All right. So this part here is fine where it is. And I'm going to move this way closer. Yeah, all the way up to here. And then this one can stay back there. But we're not going to be able to see that bit. Or I can... it's like I would like to see that bit, but problem, right? Like... cross the leg over. You put that leg up. I mean... it just means that the leg can't... well, let's see. You can push the leg down. Or you can pull it up. Oh. And I am also seeing an issue where we are just simply running out of page space. So I'm just going to go in with the crop tool. Yeah, let's get some foreshortening in here. I'm just going to give it like lots of space. Okay. Close that one, save this one. Paint lesson. Good. All right. Now we have room. Now we have like last minute big ass fix up. I was so obsessed with the design stuff that I wasn't paying much attention with the basic perspective, but that's okay because the design is really what takes the most time. I gotta move these guys. Am I on the wrong layer? I am totally on the wrong layer. Crap. Yeah, it's why I only work with like a couple layers. Just if you start throwing in too many layers and you spend more time in layer navigation than you do in actually drawing. Okay. Yeah, I know why this happens too. Is because if I undo, it kind of resets which layer I was working on, which bit of a Mega Man foot right there. But the reason I do the Mega Man feet is because it really pushes perspective. It lets you make something come forward. That guy's still in the fucking way. Hang on. You get to go over here. There. Okay. That's too high. Yeah, here, a bit of a suck my toes pose. That's starting to look kind of forced, like it's being forced to turn this way. I don't like that. I'm gonna just straighten that out. That feels a little more naturalistic, and is um not so foreshortened either. I'm not against foreshortening. It's just sometimes there's such thing as excessive foreshortening, and it might lead people to the wrong idea, make them all think I have a foot fetish or something. You would be mistaken. It's not my only. That's the thing. I wonder if you have every single fetish, does that mean that you have no fetishes at all? Just means you're a more intense person, I guess. Okay, that goes in too far, so I had to actually move that down. That down. All right. Knock all this stuff back. Also, before I do any of that, I should also reshape this. So yeah, I guess in fact she will step on this thing. I'm just gonna draw it out as a flat shape before I round it down. If I draw it out as a flat shape, as a rectangle with a cutoff, I can really sense the perspective on this thing a lot better. In fact, I'm just gonna plane that off for now. Make that a little bit longer. Better. Then I can connect it when I'm satisfied. And let's see, how far up do I want this to go? Up to here is fine. Okie dokie. And I'll worry about these leg bits here. So I should do the leg in the back first. Boom. And trim it down. So the idea is that, like, you start out rough, then you trim things down, and then you trim them down some more, and it's just this slow process of I shouldn't say slow process, actually a pretty fast process of subdivision. Just takes many steps. Death by 1,000 cuts. So there's that one. I flip the drawing again. Oh, whoops. Right, because the legs are crossed, the toes are reversed. I'm just squaring that off. Yeah, I know I can operate in a separate layer. I just stubbornly not doing it. And actually, yeah, you know what? Let's isolate this onto a separate layer. So I'll just throw another layer in there. Grab that color. Turn down the opacity. Okay, I'll just bang it in there quickly. I can refine it later. Okay, good. Turn down the opacity on that one. Go up here. And just, whoops. Yeah, I can just cut away. I'll just redraw. Okay, now I'll use black just because it lets me really see the silhouette more clearly. So yeah, she gets a Mega Man foot for now. Okay, now I can start thinking how to make the Mega Man foot actually look like just a normal foot. Like a shrink wrap. Yeah, it's looking much better already. And then we can. That's a really thick ankle. Like a Chris Sanders thick ankle. Chris Sanders is the guy who he was like the art director for Disney's Lilo and Stitch. And man, that guy draws ass for days. He draws tits too, like really nice tits. Okay. Well, it's starting to really come together now. What a difference, huh? As before, it's like now it's like getting that perspective shift. So even in the late game of things, like you can still do a lot of work, still do a lot of changes, and save the drawing, and even a huge perspective issue like we just had. In fact, that foot was still looking kind of fat. And I just can't stress enough. Like, fucking get your flats working really nicely. Don't rush off to the painting. Don't rush off to trying to render the damn thing. Good way to fuck up your drawing. And there's so much work to be done in terms of just design work. I love coming up with clothing ideas. Love coming up with this kind of stuff, because to me it's like it's an actual creative process and not just some labor intensive thing. Like I can deal with the labor of all this shape cut stuff because at least my brain's still active. I don't shut my brain down and sit there licking away at the brush trying to smooth out a shape. So this leg is more just straight on now. Why I say it's like there's so much cancerous bad drawing out there because no one No one wants to take the. Everyone wants to take the time to render, but they don't want to take the time to like fucking design. I guess it's all fine and good if you just want to be a colorist. But I mean, those jobs are rapidly shrinking. And there's no glory in that. Much better. Okay, good. Now we remedy fix up this problem down here. I'm gonna just flip it once more. So I still like how this thing works. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Just dealing with them tangents. Tangents should be a thing that I should go off on tangents, but I shouldn't draw them. Better to go off on a tangent than to go off on a perpendicular. Oh, that looks a lot better, right? Because now what I can see is a ripple like that. Right, so you can see how that shape is now working out. That shows that there's some tension in the fabric. See if I can accentuate that just a bit. And then how this bit here gets cut off as well. Right, so I mean, there's a bit of this kind of there's a cupping concavity to the fabric now. Great. Oh, right. I'm gonna have to work on that back layer instead. Let's just make it opaque. There we go. And then I can just keep adding to it. And then I can do the trim. There we are. Hot damn. Hot damn, hot damn. Okay, not done yet. But what I can do is I can merge these two layers again. I can, let's see, is there anything here that I want to keep? Yeah, I want to still keep some of these, that black line. Yeah, let's get that line work back in. So, get my line work back here. Right. Okay. I think I will paint this, yeah. Not just pure shape cuts, but much better. Yeah, now I'm going to get some line weighting in there. It's still pretty much like the double line technique. Better. Okay, and then, right, use the gray color. And yeah, that looks good. Add a little bit of line weighting to this. Ah, screw it. I can barely see those shapes, so in the interest of making that read better. Yeah, now it's really popping out. And now it really, really pops out. Toenail? Nah, I'm not gonna. Draws too much attention. It's as if the perspective wasn't, bad enough. Right. Okay, good. Next up, let's put the diamond holes back in there. Okay, so I guess what I'll do is I'm gonna cut a straight line like this. And then I'm doing like a flat ribbon cut, right? So I've cut a rectangular slot, and then I'm gonna just put back the fabric. And I'll just draw these hourglass shapes. I think that's too compressed, so I think I'll start up here instead. So start up here, go there, and go up across, go to there. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, this one will have to be kind of eyeballed. So the inference is that, with the string of diamond shapes, and you don't see it actually end, the inference is that if you were to see here from behind, you'd be able to see here behind. This is something that like Korean MMO art designers are like absolutely fantastic at this kind of stuff. Like just fucking Nobel Prize winners. But I'm trying to. The problem is that the ripple is actually making it really, really difficult to deal with. So, like, there's this clothing ripple that goes around, but I still need to secure that. So, I'm just gonna work based off of intuition. And then this bit here, we'll probably see a little bit of something. And then I have to throw in another layer behind it. And what this layer does is, there we are, we can show the other side of that. And then I can go in with the white, and then I can we can actually show the diamond cutout on the other side. 3D, man. Gotta get that 3D in there. To the point where I think I'll just add a little bit extra material. And then there we are. Genius. Genius. I have to give another. I love it. I'll look down here. I can tell that that doesn't correlate with that. Not yet, anyway. So I can actually enforce the correlation here because I know that I hadn't. Whoops. Wrong layer. There we are. Yeah, this area here was kind of in a lot of turmoil recently. Been redrawing it over and over again. And to flatten it out, actually. There we go. Better. In fact, if that's where the midline is, let me turn off my line work for a second. So we've got some clash. Whoa! Wow, I turned that off. And it's instantly clear what's going on. Okay, All right, we fix this. Yeah, because the thing is that the sketch was throwing off a lot of conflicting information. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna how come my thing's not there? Now it is. Why is it not doing what I want it to do? Is this thing on a separate? It's on a separate goddamn layer. Okay, that's why. Okay. Yeah. So I gotta repair that bit this time without the misleading drawing in the way, because I like I say, I like to turn off my drawing just because it can be misleading and it can throw me off, which it just did. Threw me right off a fucking cliff. Let's merge those two layers. There we are. Now we can see that thing a lot more clearly. And I can cut the hole here. And then we just show a little peek. There we go. There we go. There we go. Can you imagine what it would be like trying to do this stuff without any drawing skills? You know, without any understanding of the 3D, without any understanding of, or just without having seriously practiced all those ellipse shapes and all those cube shapes and whatnot. Like, this is much higher level stuff, but it still uses all of that other 3D stuff as a foundation. And I tell you, you know, you get into this land, you get into this territory, and you're just going to be completely screwed. You're going to be so boned, and you won't even know it. You won't even know why everything's just. It'll just be like a nonstop series of explosions going on around you, except that your drawing is dying and you won't know why. Now I gotta smooth this out. Problem is that right here and here, they're kind of getting lost. So, man, I gotta work out something else to maintain, because I can't see, I can't see what's going on in there. So maybe I will throw on one more layer just because it's just what I need to, to not get lost in there. Because those two thighs are really they're just starting to merge together. So I could throw in, a white. So, I mean, in that case, it makes the drawing safe for work again. Like she's wearing some white shorts. And I have to maintain this constant vigilance for when things are just not reading properly, when things merge together and you can't understand what you're looking at. You gotta have a good alarm bell for whenever. You gotta have a good spidey sense for whenever things are just not rocking and making sense. I don't like that. That looks like it's forming a tangent again. I think I need to curve this one up. Form yet another tangent, so I gotta curve it up some more. Stop forming that fucking tangent. And then make this one go lower. Better. By a bit. Better. Even better. Actually, I should. Okay, good. And that also lets me, like that, adding that one layer there lets me add in see how much, like the moment I add in one more color in there, it's like I use it. I use it to its full effect. So yeah, it looks like she's got like a really tiny dress in there, but that's fine. Because she's covered from below and covered from above. Well, not really. She's kind of covered from below. Definitely covered from above. She'll be fine. Got her covered. Oh, shit. Another dad joke. Okay. Sorry. And this, I think I'm going to let this droop down a bit. Just not sure which way I'm going to handle it drooping down. Feels like it needs to somehow. That's much better. Yeah, now it's more like an apron. I like it. That's good. And then we can work out the diamond thing again. That will make the diamond bigger. So now it's taken on a bit of a motif. That's a French word. Par excellence. Oh, François like. Oui, oui, French baguette. Love it. These two diamonds look the same. I'd like to institute a sizable ratio between. I mean, I want this one to be large, that one to be like definitely smaller. It's like they go down by obvious steps. If two things look the same, I ain't happy. Oh, now I can go in here and I can show a little bit of that fabric inside. All right, so it looks like now the fabric is kind of hanging open. Neat. Very dimensional. Do the same here. Lovely. And again. Getting these little catenaries in here. Not canaries. Catenary or catenary, or I don't know how it's pronounced. That is the arc that a suspended chain or a piece of string will make. It is not to be confused with a parabola or parabola, though they do look similar. Learn to draw them. Cool. We have a bit of a tangent forming here. Bust that tangent. Ah, it's even better. Muy bueno. I feel like I want to have something there to help the viewer kind of understand what's going on with that fabric. But maybe it's better as just as it is. Like I can look at that if I squint my eyes, I can see the shape and I can understand what I'm looking at. So you know what? Leave it alone. Yeah, leave it. Hmm. Lots of choices. Too many choices, in fact. I think I like simple. I think if I go this route, then I have to give her a mole. A bloody mole. Somewhere. Nice big one, too. Boop. Want something to break up this giant shape. Better. Then break up that shape by putting more bits of hair in front of it. Now let's see, should it be back there or should I move it forward? I'm gonna try moving it forward. I kind of like, yeah, I like this better. It's a much bolder shape. Kind of like a cloth. So many options. You could have headphones or earmuffs. Those look goofy. I think I'll just keep it down to a simple hairband. Just trying to, again, do one more, follow a similar motif. Yeah, fuck it. Go big or go home. That actually looks a lot better. Plus, I can go on this one and I can Oh, nope, nope. Too busy. Busy. Too busy. Yeah. Better to keep it simple. Still can't leave the shape here alone, though. Everything's got to be like just fine tuned. Got to be just right. I like. Looks good. Anything else to do? Not really seeing it. I do have to paint this thing up, but in terms of the design, like painting and lighting and all that crap. Yeah, in terms of the design, it's good. It's nice and it's very striking. Looks slick. I like slick. Oh, I can probably fix this guy right over here. Like one of those this process where you zoom out and you look for things to fix. Go around looking for trouble. I like it though. It's like it's really oh. Yeah, I like that. That's cute. Yeah, a bit of a cloth wrinkle right here in the corner. Cool. And then maybe do the diamond shape right here. A slight adjustment. Move that there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now that I've got these lines, I can think I want to go with. I'm going to keep it down to three diamonds. Yeah, 3 diamonds, but I got to work out the spacing. Nope, too busy. Yeah, no, it's better as just regular lines. But I can't help but poke at it. Maybe even 2. Yeah, too busy. Too busy. Better to leave it alone. Like the big shapes, you have to value your big shapes. And there's the extremities, right? So the extremities would be things like the toes. As we get closer to the ends, those are the extremities, and those are the parts which I feel draw the eyes more. That and also the origin points, which would mean when you go all the way down here, here's an origin point where, you know, the eye is going to be drawn. The eye, not so much on things like the calves or sometimes on the thighs, but you know, there's just certain areas where it's kind of just stuff in between. And you have to look at how you concentrate your detail. You want to concentrate the detail in certain areas and then make sure that you don't put any detail in the other areas. It starts to break down. The relation just doesn't look as good. So that's what you can see me doing here is I'm being very, you know, I make the attempt, it doesn't work out, and I back off and I don't try to force the matter. I don't try to make it happen. I'm still kind of thinking about this hood, but like I'm trying to think, it's like, is there a way that I can maybe stylize this shape a bit more? It's kind of resisting. It's resisting, right? It's like it just doesn't look good. So I back off, right? You got to know when to back off, which is to say that after the first or second try, you know, and it's not working out, back off. That simple. I'm just shrink wrapping. I want it to be tighter. And then add a wrinkle there. Yeah. Yeah, looks pretty decent or indecent. Better if I do that. It's tough because we got a black edge sitting up against a black skirt, so those things will tend to get a little lost. That's when painting, you know, will resolve some of those issues. But you probably noticed that I don't like to leave too many things up to painting. You know, I will go in there and try to fix as much as I can. I don't like to leave it up to the shading to make it work. If you're leaving it up to if your shading is what's going to fix the drawing, then, you know, if it's what's going to fix your design, you have a bad design. Face it. That's better. Now it looks, you know, like it's open. It looks pretty cool. Those parts there can stay tight. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, much better. Okay. We paint this next video.